Let's now welcome our, what have I done? Let me see. I think something is wrong there. Sorry, hold on a second. Let me see what is happening. Oh, I closed down my masterclass. Oh, interesting. Why would I close that one down when we're supposed to start off? Okay, now let's go to my mentor slides. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Okay, so I'm just gonna start. Okay, now allow me to welcome my own personal mentor. You know, when I say my mentor is in the house, I feel relaxed because every one of us, no matter how high, how big, and how learned we are, or in position, our position in the society, we need a mentor. And Professor Dr. TPS Sasikumar from India is my personal mentor since almost 3.5 years. I've been drinking from his wealth of wisdom, and he's here with us again. I will show you quickly just a slides to introduce Professor Sasikumar, the Directorate General of Security, Cabinet Secretariat, Government of India. I believe that this, what I'm showing you, is our long-term flyer, but I believe by the time he joins us again tomorrow, I will try to get his full information. He's also the director of UCG, Academic Staff College, Calicut University at Kerala. Is an scientific Advanced Data Processing Research Institute of Hyderabad, Program Planning and Project Management in Bangalore, and Space Application Center at Ahmedabad, and professor and HOD of Business Administration, AEC, also at Adareba, and many, many more. I believe that he will give me a good honor to please introduce yourself fully before you start your section, because I don't have your latest information. So permit me now to welcome Professor Dr. TPS Sasikumar. Well, at least if I don't know every other thing, I know that T stands for teacher, P4 stands for parent, and S stands for student. All right, I hand over the rest to him. You are welcome, sir.
Thank you, my sister Queen Elizabeth, and thank you, Professor. You make us feel at home always, right? More important, no trauma sitting in front of you. Yeah, Kavita is a professor, theoretically explained, I think, most of the reasons for emotional trauma. And I'm sure solutions part also will come. I'm sorry I joined a little late, so I couldn't listen Kavita totally. Probably what all of us speak is almost the same, because when we talk about trauma, we talk about accidents, abuses, violence, right? And what is the symptom when you lose something in your life? How do you behave? And what will happen? The first thing what will happen is choking your breath. Choking your breath is what will happen. You will lose your breath. That's why we say heartbreaking, right? It's not lungs, but it's the heart, which we mentioned when we wanted to talk about our breath. Because feelings controls, we don't know where in our body. The Eastern system, we have got different names for the spare part in our body where feelings comes. M-A-N-A-S. The word is called manas. M-A-N-A-S. But no translation in the Western science on this. Right? There is no science. That is why people get confused with the heart, the feelings in the heart. Right? You may show the symbol of heart and then say that the heartbeat changes, the breath rate changes, the breathing pattern changes when you have emotional feelings. That is why people associate feelings with the breathing rate, and therefore heart comes into picture. Actually, heart is a physical body part. So no biologist will agree. Your thinking happens in heart. When you say thinking, they keep the brain, but brain has nothing to do. Because if somebody hits here, the pain is here, not in the brain. Correct? Every body, every cell in your body has got a thought process. That's why even if you are full drunk, you are able to walk from your room to the next room. You don't go somewhere else. Because your feet also has got knowledge. When you go back to your home, you don't stand on the junction and start thinking whether I have to take this road or this road. The legs drives you. You don't have to think. When you see the picture of the most loved one, immediately all the thoughts. So where the thought is, it's not the brain. Immediately your hand will go and hold the person. The hand understands this is the person where I can hold. You don't even have to think for that. You will not, when you see your mother, you will not think, oh, is it my mother? See the picture of your mother, you will not see, oh, this is my mother's picture. So the eye has got a thought because it kept on seeing the image. So how do you explain something which is not in the Western science to a common public where I am sure I am addressing the whole world? The Eastern philosophy, probably I have to use the modern science to explain. Assume that this is a computer and all my indriyas, the sensory organs, are the input and output devices. I am able to hear sound. So one output input device. See, eye, so vision input output device. The taste for the tongue. The touching feeling by the skin. All such indriyas, the nose which gives the smell. The smell of the food is good enough, immediately you get the shape of the food. Right? The coffee smell is enough. You will see the coffee automatically, the fumes comes out of the coffee also will come to your eyes. You need not see. The word coffee is enough. You are hearing, you are seeing it in front. So these are all called input output devices. And what is the software what controls all this? The software of feeling. So software cannot be shown. In a computer, you cannot show me where is the software. No, you cannot show. It's loaded already and it works. Similarly, in the consciousness, the whole consciousness, the aura, the life energy in my body, there is what is called the manas. It is not the brain which is the memory. Like a hard disk has got a memory. Memory only keeps old files. The RAM keeps the immediate access. The RAM and ROM, you should understand. The software interacts with the temporary memory. Whenever it requires, it goes and picks up some frame. So understand, the trauma is a situation in which the memory is not able to give the enough data, and you play only on the software level. It's so superficial. It's so superficial. Actually, there is no problem, but you think there is a big problem. So trauma is an illusionary world. It's a software world. So it is only in the behavior pattern. It's not in the character. There is a lot of difference between behavior and character. Character is what holds you for longer time. It's like weather and climate. Climate is longer time, weather is short time. Similarly, behavior is short time and character is the long time. So sometimes my character is not very strong, I will be in trauma. I will be in an accidental situation. Otherwise, if accident happens, you will not react, overwhelmed. Abuse happens to you, you know, see, this is not the end of the world. I will come out of it. If somebody abuses me, how does it matter to me? There are millions of other people who recognizes me well. If there is a violence, I know it is very, very temporary. The world is not limited by that the region. I can get out of that place. I lost something, I must understand by birth. I have not come out with something in my hand. My hands were free. Nothing is lost. It is only changed from my possession to somebody else. Right? I don't think that I have a great ego. My name is lost by somebody tarnishing me. Did I came to birth by a great name? No, I have gained it. I've got some more time in my life to gain it back. So, what is basically controlling all these emotions? That is where the breath is what is controlling. That is why we have called what is called a pranayama. Pranayama is take the breathing practices. So I am talking about not the trauma by itself. I am talking about how can you overcome from the situation. I am a meditation master from Himalayan tradition from India. That is the world's best Himalayan tradition. Swami Rama, if you have not read the book called Living with Himalayan Masters, that's one of the best book. It's like a visiting card of my guru, visiting card of my boss, my master. If you look at it, what we teach is silence. Whenever there is a big problem, take a deep breath and then say, no problem. There is no problem in my life which is bigger than me. You understand, my sister? We keep saying in English, I am in a problem. Tell me, how can I be in a problem when problem is smaller and I am bigger? It's a foolish English. I am in a problem is a wrong English. I can never be in a problem. The problem can be in me. The problem can be beside me. The problem can be outside me.
But I'm not the problem.
I am not in a problem. See, there is a lot of difference. Understand, when people say I am in a problem, that means I am seeing only problems, because around me there is a problem. But around me there are no problems. There is only a slit through which I am seeing the problem. Out of 360 degree, it's only 1 degree I am seeing problem. But so happens my focus is always on that problem, I will miss solutions. So my subject of discussion, what is assigned to me is overcoming the trauma. So I'm saying, close your eyes to that 1 degree, look at another 359 degree around you. Don't look at the problem, just ignore the problem. Keep saying no problem. Keep saying no problem. That is the solution for all the problems, right? If somebody falls, no problem. How does it matter? There are doctors around. What is the biggest problem which we can have? Death. That is escape from all problems in this world, right? So why do we worry about problems? Understand? So we get our breathing rate is normally 15 to 18 if you are so healthy per second, but doesn't happen when we are in a trauma, when we see accident, when we are inside accidents, when we get abused, when we are in violence. It is just opposite to silence. Violence is the opposite of silence. If there is a violence, the solution is silence. Don't get reactions. If something is lost, Understand it is nothing. It's not mine. I am not the trustee. It's so simple to understand. It cannot be by lectures. It needs to be with living with someone who practices it. That is why in Indian tradition, we call the greatest master as Acharya. He is not a theoretical person. He will not speak theory. People around him should look at him and say, how this man is practicing, let me also do that. The other day, I was in my hometown. My school teacher, who is almost 72 years old, was sitting in a small stool and she fell down. She was sitting just beside me. But everybody was panic actually. It's like an accident. You know, when you see an accident, how do you react? She was sitting beside me. I was looking at her so peacefully. I said, what can happen? If she falls, she has to get up. Basically, she has to get up. And if she cannot get up, she needs a help. If she says, I am fine, you don't have to be panic at all. Assume that she is panicked, she will break her head. She can become unconscious. If you're conscious, when you fall, your hand will go and touch the ground. Head will never hit. Understand, if somebody is falling, the hands are touching the ground, they are not in trauma, they are not in panic. If they are in panic, they feel, oh God, hand goes up, finish, the head will go and hit. Understood? If somebody breaks their leg or hand through an accident, immediately let's say, well done, you have saved yourself. Got it? These are all small things which comes with a lot of experience. You cannot give a theoretical class and say, this is how the classification happens. There is a single incident, there is a chronic incident, there is a complex incident. All these are theory. This is good to get a master's in your program. But practically, I have been asked to give the solutions and how do you manage, how do you resolve your problems is more important. So emotional trauma can damage the ability to see that who is around me because you are seeing only the problem. You have a mentor, but to reach out to him, what is exactly required? A trust. The trust comes by testing many times. So you should have somebody who is around you, immediately you will call. That's why we call, oh God. But God doesn't come by himself. He comes through people around you. He has kept a lot of people around you, right? And they are helping you with the message of the so-called God or energy, what is around you. If you keep an emotional attachment to people, definitely they will keep an emotional attachment to you. But nowadays, what happens is we don't invest more time with somebody. We are so business oriented, so much so-called practical, but not very much into the real function of understanding the emotion. There is an emotional distance and there is a communication problem. So what are the solutions? Keep trust, keep an emotional attachment, give a communication. If I know this person, a look is good enough to say that I am in trouble. A call is good enough. I don't have to tell all my problems. One signal is good enough. Unhealthy relationship is a problem which is not causing trauma actually. The solution for trauma is in problem because you don't have good relationship with many people. You need to have somebody beside you always, right? So transforming your relationship is the master class, which is the super title which YYCI is conducting, in which the trauma is the manifestation of the problems in relationships. Probably the distrust, the fear, the intimacy problems. These causes the problem in relationship. Therefore, the path of healing, I am repeating, the path of healing comes from the self-awareness. Understand, I am not an egoistic person. My identity is a big zero. The so-called sophisticated status which I show is making me not to be simple, and therefore the so much dramatized life, I hold my collar up saying that I am so and so, I am so and so, I am so and so. That is what one of the reasons. The ego is one of the biggest reason for trauma. I am not worried about anything. The kids are never worried about. The elderly person are never worried about any of this because they are self-aware. Don't become too practical, become too simple. Don't become too much in the intellectual level. Be in the emotional level. Get rid of all the negative thoughts. The pattern of emotional intelligence, the emotion has to be stronger than the intelligence portion. How do you build up this? Build up the supporting system through a great mentor. When you have a problem, I must be able to immediately call. I remember when I lost my mother, I called my master and he said, wonderful. Everybody has to lose their mother. Today or tomorrow, everybody will lose. Now you have become a grown-up person. When you lose your mother, that means you have become a grown-up person. Until then, you are a child. As long as your biological mother exists, you are only a child for your mother. You lost your mother means you are not a child now, you are a grown-up person. So behave like a grown-up person. What a great message is that. It starts making you to think, yes, I have to behave like a grown-up person. This is the pattern the world is. Somebody will lose their body, but their emotions, their feelings, their memories, all that is within me. And I have to uphold that I belongs to this family. That is more important. So I have a great responsibility. Though be like a responsible person. Respond to the situation. Don't react to the situation. Understand different two meanings. Respond to the situation. The trauma makes you not respond to the situation, but you overreact most of the time or underreact most of the time, or you have no reactions which are under control. Therefore, you become abruptly a useless person. So developing a healthy coping mechanism, understanding what I should do at that point of time. That can be mindfulness, a relaxation, or exercising all your energy and power, exercising your contacts, creativity, and journalizing, all that, documenting all that is essential. Sometimes I will have to take a picture when the accident happens because the law wants that to happen there, right? When I am in trauma, I will lose that the consciousness. I will not even take a picture. Finished. The legal action will come against me. So if there is an accident, immediately react. The documentation is very, very essential today. So be within yourself. And if there is a big problem happening to somebody else and you have a less damage on that, forgive. Doesn't matter. Yeah, my car got damaged. Doesn't matter. Lucky that I did not get any injury. So empower yourself with a high wisdom. Empower yourself with a high wisdom, which gives the power of forgiveness. These are all great messages from every God in every religion. But we don't understand, we don't take it when it comes practically. So the role of transforming relationship, understand you need to identify what is that I should transform. And coming from the Eastern philosophy, from India, we have great book which is called the Mahabharata and Ramayana. These are two great books. You have lot of small stories which are put inside, which explains emotional trauma for the great rulers, not even common people. The king himself is in a trauma. And what happens is his mother, his mentor, and his masters, all of them gives him so much of great lessons. And he realized, yeah, now I know how to come out of the problems. And solution instantly come. Why do such great stories are kept as religious textbooks in Eastern Indian philosophy? For all of us to understand, however you are qualified, how much power and position you have, how rich you are, this doesn't stop being emotionally upset. It can happen to anyone. So the courage and the power is, even for a king, he needs a master. Even when you are in the highest position, like a minister or a judge, he needs an advisor. Even a committee of group of exemplarily brilliant people, you have somebody who is a wise person as an advisor to that. That's why great institutions have advisory board, not for just keeping them for namesake. So keep them in the right place when you are in a problem, or he will be able to come and tell you stories like this. Our epic had this, our stories had this, our kings had this. Even God had problems. You can see all the God in most of the religious practices, you can see problems are the starting point of every God. And they have come out of their problems. They have impacted upon the relationships. They have impacted upon the communication. So what happened? All of them came out of this real problem and they became winners. So the emotional trauma should never impact your relationships. And that is the message, probably this masterclass, which I believe I have to get. There are a lot of other stories, like a great poet like Kalidasa has written, Kalidasa, a Sanskrit poet, has written a story called Shakuntala, and a story of Satyavati, and the great mother of a king called Gandhari. It is not whether you are blind or not blind, whether your ear is working or not, whether your all sensory organs are perfect or not. The software should never get corrupted. Suppose you don't know driving, I have no problem. If the road is bad, my driving is bad, I will not be able to drive. But assume I know driving, even when my car is not perfect, my road is not perfect, I know how to manage. So my ability to get out of the problem is more important than anything else in the world. Problems are part of this world. If there is no problem, I am not going to learn anything. Development never comes without a problem in hand. Success comes only with lot of struggle. Why all these quotations are there around us? To understand when there is a problem, keep saying no problem. Problem is no problem. It becomes a challenge for me when I have a great goal. If I don't have great goal, every problem becomes a big problem and I will turn back. So trauma is only a temporary situation which doesn't require any medication. Actually, it needs a strong leg to cross the biggest river in life, which are major problems, minor streams, and major streams. So I must get trained with a lot of problems in life. That is why our social skill development happens in the early childhood education. Now, Dr. TPS is working on early childhood education. There is a foundation for early childhood in India, in which I am the research and director for the development of all the solutions for that. I've written 4 books in the last few months. My sister was asking, what is that I am now doing? And there is a set of universities in India which is called ICFAI. You can Google. They do a lot of master's program in the business administration and such courses. I am designated as the professor of practice. That means not a theoretical man. I am a practical man who gives solutions from the experience which I gained over years. And I am also a chief knowledge officer of the mental care India. The context in which I am speaking now probably fits more because I am also having a responsibility of the mental care of the young children, the students, the adolescents, people in the whole India. So I wrote 3 books. The other day I was giving in the conference my lecture. I've shown you the books. The 3 books are written and we are using it as training guide for the teachers in most of the schools in India now. So there is a great importance on the topic in which I am talking today. I'm so glad, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to make my small points of view. There is great lot to speak on this subject. Years together, months together, we can speak. There is a great Sanskrit sloka which says, if I have to, I quoted this earlier also sometime. If I want to walk all the place where I'm walking, I want leather carpet, I cannot get it. But the best thing is to wear a leather footwear and start walking. So my life, I cannot find a place where there are no problems. But I must have the ability to wear my manas, my software, my emotional controlling system, the software which controls my emotions, need to be virus free. The virus is the trauma. I must get the virus out, for which my hardware has to be very strong. My graphic engine has to be very strong so that my presence of mind is very sharp. And all these need to be actually, the training should happen from age 3. The social skill development should happen from age 3. Therefore, Dr. TPS started a education system in India which is called grandmother's child care. Shiksha means education, Gurukulam means the residential school. So I've got a program which is called Grandma Child Care Shiksha Gurukulam, which actually gives training for teachers how to take care of the emotional stability of children so that throughout their life, they become very strong. They know how to take care of themselves, be self-aware of physical, emotional, intellectual, social, and spiritual development, 5-fold development. These give solutions for most of the problems which we have in this fast-moving 3, 2, 1 world, third decade of 21st century. This is my submission. So thank you so much, my sister. If you have something to ask, probably I'll be the happiest person to get some questions.
Hey, thank you so much, sir. Professor, Dr. TPS Sasikumar. Thank you so much for giving us your presentation this morning on overcoming trauma. And you've really elaborated for us to say that what we need to focus on is our relationship and the emotion, that trauma is really temporal. If we can go beyond looking at the trauma. I have a question as usual. That's why you
I'm
like
so
to
glad.
come.
I'm so glad.
Now, the question is, what is my question? Hold on. Okay. The one question is, emotional has to be more than intelligent. Can you elaborate it for us, please?
What controls us? Is it the why Professor Dr. Queen Elizabeth called Dr. TPS for a lecture? Is it because, oh, Dr. TPS is a high intelligent person, or we have a relationship?
We have a relationship.
So is that controlled by logical reasoning, understanding people perfect, or a smile in my face when I see you? So it is the emotional feelings which makes people to talk to each other. When you talk to them, you realize this person is intelligent. Sometimes you realize this person is a real cheat. Sometimes you realize he's a not a genuine person. His qualifications are only qualifications, but it doesn't work. So all that connection starts with human being human. Social being social. If I send a message, yesterday there was a conference in which one of my book on mindset matters were released in Baku, Azerbaijan. What I did was, all those people who are reacting at different places, I have sent messages. Hardly I have seen out of 30 messages, 2 people reacted. How does it happen? You talk about we need a community to work together, but they don't. Sometimes you don't communicate. Why are you not communicating? You are not a social being. What is called a social media? It is to connect people. But we have a lot of wrong people there. We must be careful. We must look at the intention behind it. All that comes by giving a chance first. Let us find out how many people stay with us for a long time. How many people come and go with in our friendship? Why do they go? That is because probably intellectually they are very sharp, but they are too selfish. They are only looking at what they gain, but they have nothing to give to somebody else. These are all basic intellectual problem, not emotional problem. Understood? I've got a beautiful fruit to eat. What is that first time saying? A beautiful fruit I have to eat. The beauty is the emotional feeling. So then I will talk about taste. Taste is emotional. All these are there. Then I will say the vitamin content is good. Let me have it. Assume that it doesn't look good. It doesn't have taste. That means my all sensory organs don't accept. I'm sure I'm not going to have it because it may be healthy, but I'm not very happy with it. Understood? So there is a great saying. There are great proverbs. One of the best thing what I come is a house have to be neat enough to be healthy and untidy enough to be happy. Assume that I keep everything so clean and perfect. I don't think I will keep 2 books in my table which I will never read. I want every time the book to be in the shelf. I don't even take it out because I want to keep it neat. I'm not going to be a reader.
No.
Assume that you have got a bedspread without wrinkles. What are you doing on the bed? On the bed, you must be able to enjoy, right?
Exactly.
You must make wrinkles.
Good.
Otherwise, why are
Yes.
you on the bed? You cannot sleep on a bed like a stiff without making wrinkle. Correct?
It's true.
So,
It's true.
so you cannot have a child not playing in your house and say be very strict. No, they
No.
cannot. They have to play around. They have to throw around. I should have the liberty to keep my legs on my table and sitting on the chair when I'm at home. Probably I don't do it in the office. If I cannot do it in my house, where else I can do it? You understood? So the so-called brain and your manas, the software which I said, the feeling, the intellect and the feeling always is in conflict. I want to talk to you. Hey, no, let her talk to me. Then I will talk. You know, this is the problem. Why should I have that ego when I feel that I have to talk to my sister Queen Elizabeth? Why should not I immediately talk to you? Why should I think, let you contact, then I will see whether I have to talk to you or not? So we are not instantaneously simple, accidental reactions are not coming because we are trying to become sophisticated, trying to become more polished, the so-called polished. Actually, it doesn't have any meaning. When I come back to my house, I must play with my child like a small child with him. I should not show that I am a professor and I am a scientist, I am a judge, I am a police. That's all your profession. When you come back home, you are a father, you are a sister, you are a mother, you are a brother, or you are a kid. When I see my mother, I must immediately sleep on her lap. It doesn't matter whether I am 60 years old or not. My mother is a mother. I must have the liberty to go and sleep on her lap. So being simple is an emotional feeling. Being sophisticated is an intellectual thought, which is actually Nelson Mandela clearly mentioned. You cannot have two H. You cannot have good head and a good heart. It always conflicts. You decide whether you want to have a good head or you want to have a good heart. Sometimes professionally, good head, but emotionally, relationship, you should have good heart, not good head. Don't ask question, why should I talk to her? She's my girlfriend. What do I get? No, girlfriend, don't think of getting something. You should give of giving something. Understood? So you be a giver. That giving pattern is the mental state, emotional state, the manas. That is more important. It's a wonderful question. This conflict in my book called Life Made Simple, which is there on my website, you can download it, which explains there is a conflict between the brain and the heart, the head and the heart, double H. H and H doesn't match each other. You can have either a good head or a good heart. The manas and the buddhi is the word used there. Buddhi is intellect. Manas is the software which controls our indriyas, the sensory organs in my life. Oh, so tasty. Immediately I think, who made it? Oh, my enemy made it. So it's not tasty. the, 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 the lecture is so good. I love it. Then immediately ask, who gave that lecture? So and so person. No, that's not good. Understood? So you categorize people based on this brain, but not on your liking. That's a problem where you have.
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate that answer. I could have loved to ask more questions, but because we've delayed some of our leaders, but
Yeah.
I know that you still have so many sections with us, and I will keep my questions to that time. I could have loved to, but say I've got why questions then. But
Okay.
let's wait and
We
allow
come back.
others
come back.
and come back.
Yeah.
Or maybe after this, after our leaders have spoken, finish, if you are
Sure.
still around, I might ask those questions. Today, I'm free, I'm relaxing because we have bank holiday. So I'm ready. I'm using my bank holiday to learn and learn and learn. And all my co-leaders all over the world are joining me also, so that while we are relaxing, we are learning. Learning is living and it's lifestyle. Thank you so much, Professor TPS.
Thank you.
I really appreciate your teaching. Now